In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I converted my bike from mechanical rim brakes to hydraulic disc brakes. It's very simple and not hard to do at all, so I'm not going to talk for too long. Let's get right into the video. So one thing before we start this video, if you plan on converting your bike like I did, this method will only work if your hub has threads, which I can't show you because I have the disc on right now. If your hub has threads on the braking side, the non-drive side of your bike. But if your bike doesn't have the threads on the left side, this method might not work out for you. So first I'm gonna show you guys everything I had to get for this conversion. All the parts I used, I got them off Amazon. And if you're interested in any of it, I'll leave the links in the description. So first thing, I got these hydraulic brakes off Amazon for $25. It comes with the caliper, the lever, and the whole thing's pre-bled. Plus it comes with the rotor and this little, drop my phone. It comes with this little bracket thing right here. Some people might say you need expensive brakes for them to work good, but these were only $25, and honestly, I think they work just as good as MT200s. It's all pre-bled, and yeah, everything's just fine. No problems with these brakes. The kit also comes with a 160mm rotor, which this is probably not the one that came with it, but anyways, I had to end up getting a 180mm rotor that I got from my friend. Not that the one that came with the brakes was bad quality or anything. I guess the way my frame is set up, I needed a bigger rotor because the caliper was too far from that 160. That was probably just a problem with my bike, and you probably won't have that problem if you plan on doing this. Next thing I got was this disc to hub adapter. This came in a pack of 2 for $5. And then last, I got this caliper mount, which I think it was like around $20. And I'll show you that in a little bit once I get the wheel taken off. That's everything I used for my conversion. Like I said, if you're interested in any of it, I'll leave the links in the description. But now I can show you guys how I put everything on the bike. First thing I did for this conversion was actually remove my V-brakes, which now if you look at my bike you can't even see the mounts anymore, and that's because before I got my bike powder coated, I cut them off and I grinded it so it looks like they were never here. Next thing to do is remove the back wheel and start putting on your disc setup. I got the back wheel off, and now you can get a better look. First thing I did was take my little adapter piece and then I screwed it onto the threaded hub. I'm not gonna take this rotor off to show you guys because I put some red Loctite on it, and you know that stuff is probably gonna be hard to get off. But it's pretty self-explanatory. You just take your little threaded hub adapter thing and then thread it right on under the rotor. Once you get this thing threaded on, you're just gonna have this with no rotor, and then you're gonna take your rotor, put it right on top, line it up right over those holes, and then you can use the screws that came with the brake set to secure it onto the hub. I would recommend you also use some Loctite. You could use blue or red just to make sure that your rotor is solid and doesn't come off when you're riding. As you can see, I already lost one of my screws and I don't really know where it is, but this is how I got the rotor on. Now we can move on to the next step. Next thing you want to do is to put your bracket onto your hub. It might seem like a pretty confusing piece, but it's actually not that hard. Just take your little nut off of here. Then you just get your adapter. Make sure that this keyway right here is facing away from the wheel. Make sure you're on your non-drive side of your wheel. Just slide it over this little hole, and then that's on. Next thing to do is get your wheel back onto your frame. This keyway is gonna line up with this little thing right here. Adapter's on. Now I'm gonna go ahead, put the chain back on, and then I'll flip the bike back over so we can start putting the caliper. Back wheel is on. Adapter, as you can see, is very solid. I'm probably gonna need some new nuts soon because I've almost completely stripped those out. For the next step, we can go ahead and start putting our actual caliper and brake lever onto the bike. So as you see, I got my lever mounted onto the handlebars. All you need, I think, is an Allen key right here. Just loosen that up and slide that over the handlebars. And then for your caliper, you get your little bracket on the bottom, and then this whole thing can slide right on this. I would recommend before you start putting it on, you take an Allen key and you loosen these two top bolts right here. You don't have to take them all the way out, but that should just give it a little bit of play so you can align your brakes. Take the two little screws and then take your Allen key, make sure they're tight, but you don't want to tighten it too much because you don't want to strip it out. Once your caliper is mounted, you can go ahead, squeeze your brake lever. You probably don't want to squeeze it when it's not mounted onto the rotor because you don't want your brake pads to clamp together. But when you squeeze your brake lever, you'll probably be able to see that your caliper moves a little bit from side to side. I don't know if you guys can see that, but when I press the brake, the caliper wiggles. We're actually gonna use this to align our caliper with the rotor. All you have to do is hold your brake down, the caliper will align itself. Then as you're holding it, don't let go, but take your Allen key and then tighten up the rotor. Make sure you don't let go of the brake while you're doing this or your caliper might not be centered. If you want, you can have someone hold the brake while you tighten up the caliper, but I don't think it's that hard to do with one person. Last thing you want to do if you haven't already is just make sure your cable isn't like flopping around. My bike already has these little loops from the mechanical wires. I took a flathead screwdriver and pried it open a little bit wider so that I could push this in. That's how I got my cable to stay, but if you don't have these, some simple zip ties will work fine too. Or some bikes even have internal routing. And that's pretty much it for the whole conversion. As you can see, it wasn't that complicated. Your brakes probably aren't gonna be like just right, so you're probably gonna wanna tune them up a little bit. As you can see, my lever is going in a lot when I pull it. I think that should be kind of expected when you put new brakes on your bike. But yeah guys, that's how I converted my bike from mechanical rim brakes or V-brakes to now hydraulic disc brakes. And they work just fine. Like I said, all the parts I use in this video will be linked in the description if you're interested. I got everything off Amazon. If you have any questions about a conversion, just let me know in the comments. But now I guess the last thing I need to do is go test it out.